Hi and welcome back to my channel. My name is Anne-Sophie, I'm a knitter from Belgium, and I managed to work myself down from 18 to 13 whips in just 2 weeks. So if you're new here or you missed my last video, a little over 2 weeks ago I posted a video talking about how I ended up with 18 whips, and I sort of figured out how I would be getting through them, which ones I would frog or which ones I would finish first and were the most urgent. So we're 2 weeks later now, and I managed to finish/frog 5 already, and I only have 13 left, some of which I even made quite some progress on, so I'll be talking through all of those with you today. If you're interested in watching the whip video, I will link it here and down below in the description box, so you can check that out there, and then come back to this one to see my progress. Maybe we should start with what I'm wearing though. This doesn't really count within my whips, but I did manage to finally add buttons to this cardigan last week, so I'll show it to you really quickly. This is my Haru cardigan by Knits by Summer. I wore it a few times without buttons, but I wasn't really a big fan of how it was fitting me and how it fit me in the back, and it also took me a while to find the perfect buttons. But I finally managed to find them. I found these gold, flat, cute, metallic buttons that I think suit the pink really, really well. It's a drop shoulder pattern. It features all over tiny cables, 4x4 cables, and it's knit on 4mm needles. I think I knit my sleeves a little bit too short, but it's fine. I don't think I'm gonna go in and fix that. I'm just wearing it as it is right now. It's a v-neck cardigan. Summer also has a crew neck sweater version for this pattern, which you should definitely check out if you like this look. I knit it with Holstgarn Super Soft in the color Sweet Pea, which is a fingering weight yarn, held together with Holstgarn Titicaca alpaca yarn, which is a lace weight, kind of a mohair substitute, which I used in the color Rose Heather. I think I counted this as like my 19th whip, but I didn't mention it in my last video. But yeah, I did finish it, and I've been wearing it a lot with either like a white top or this pink top, and I think it looks very, very, very cute. And yeah, strongly recommend this pattern. If you have a bit straighter shoulders like me, I would recommend doing less short rows on the drop shoulder because the back neck comes a bit too high for me. So I do think I would modify that if I were to knit, or when I will knit, more of Summer's patterns in the future. But yeah, that's really all I have to say about this. So let's talk about whips I managed to finish first. I started by tackling this Sunday morning baby romper, which turned into a sweater. Whoops. So I talked to my friend after I'd already bought the yarn, and I asked her like what size she would like me to knit the baby garment in that I was going to gift her. And she said like, oh, maybe the 0 to 3 months size, because the newborn size the baby's just gonna grow out of immediately. And I ended up losing yarn chicken because I'd bought the amount of yarn necessary for the newborn size. But I fixed it by just knitting a little sweater instead, because I figured it would be big enough for like at least 1 to 2 months old. It's knit with Drops Baby Merino, which is a superwash. I held it double, and it stretched quite a lot with blocking, so I think it should be fine in terms of like size. And yeah, I knit these yellow stripes in a purple base, and I gave it this cute little detail on all of the hems. I regret not doing it on the collar maybe, but I do think it looks pretty well balanced still. It's also just the cutest thing I ever knit. I added this little flower button, and I used yellow thread to sew it in, which I think really ties the look together very cutely. It's reflecting a lot of light, but when it's dark, I think you can see it better like this. It's actually like exactly the same color as the yarn, which I love. I think it was a very good choice, and I love that it has like a little eyelet and a button to make it fit the baby. My joins in the back don't look really good because I decided to do 2 rows of yellow and 2 rows of purple, and my jogless joins just you can't really make them look good with only 2 rows, so I should have done 3 rows and 3 rows or 4 rows and 4 rows. But you know, it just adds to the handmade look of the gift, I guess. And yeah, I think it's really, really cute. So I used the Sunday morning baby romper pattern and I just shortened it. It's the first time also I did a raglan using knit front back stitches instead of make one left and make one right. And I do think it looks really cute. Yeah, it looks very similar to a regular raglan, just a little bit less, like the raglan stitches themselves look a little bit less polished. I really like the way it looks. I think it's very soft. It blocked out perfectly. And I hope my friend will be happy with this. She loves yellow and purple. Like most of her outfits are like a bright yellow and this kind of purple combined. So I think she's gonna be excited to have her baby match her outfits, or at least I hope so. Now, the next thing I finished are my partner's I'm Ecstatic socks. He put these on immediately. I didn't get to block them, but they're finished. I knit these after I knit a pair that I'm wearing myself right now, actually. Ta-da! But I was terribly off gauge, so they were more my size rather than his. And then it took me a while to knit them again. I don't know, I think knitting something twice, like immediately after knitting it for the first time or just finishing it for the first time, can get like really boring. So yeah, I kind of dropped this for a second and preferred a different cast on. But so he's been wearing these for about 2 weeks now. You can see they're really pilling quite badly, which I'm a bit disappointed about, but they are holding up all right. There's some felting going on at the bottom of the foot, like at the sole near the toes already, which I'm not too excited about, so I'm not sure how these will be holding up in the future. I knit his not entirely according to pattern, so I knit a gusset heel rather than a shadow wrap short row heel, and I knit the toe for his pair according to pattern with the Kitchener stitch and decreases, but I think it looks less good than the toe on my version where I did the same thing you do for Sunday socks. I think that's a rounded toe, but I'm not sure. But I definitely think that toe suits the DK weight sock a little bit better because you don't end up with these awkward little corners that you need to like sew down. So I think in the future, I'm gonna modify this pattern or just any pattern, the DK weight sock to have a gusset if it doesn't, and to, well, have a rounded toe like the Sunday sock pattern does. But yeah, my partner's very happy with these socks. It's very fun to be like matching at home, like when we sit on the couch and we both stretch our legs and our little feet stick out from under the blanket. It's adorable. So I'm very glad I finally finished these, but I think my partner is even happier about it than I am. I used Sunless Garn Perfect in a dark gray mix color, and I think it's really, really cute. I think it's better when you stretch out the cuff so you see this gorgeous, gorgeous cable pattern. But yeah, I feel like they've really set to his feet already a little bit. Just the cuff hasn't really stretched enough to my liking yet. I'm thinking I'll maybe give these a steam block when he's away just to make sure they look a bit prettier. I don't know. I'm a bit of a perfectionist, so that might be why. I really like these socks. I'm glad my partner likes them, and I'm sort of happy that I messed up with the gauge because now we get to match. The next thing I finished were these socks for my grandfather. They look amazing, although this one looks a tiny bit shorter than the other one. I didn't measure correctly. I had my partner try them on because he has the same foot size as my grandpa and he didn't really notice. I'm not too worried about the difference. It's like maybe half a centimeter, not even. It's not that bad. I'm sure it'll be fine. Like, you notice it, but only if you put the two exactly on top of each other. I knit these with Filcolana Arwetta sock yarn. It's a superwash merino with about 20% nylon in there. This is what I have left of the second ball. It's the color Slate, and these are the softest socks I have ever felt. My partner was like very jealous of my grandpa when he tried these on because it's like my partner's favorite color to wear, and also they're just incredibly soft. My grandpa has very sensitive feet, so I think these will be perfect for him, but I'm not sure they're going to wear very well. But yeah, at least you will have this very luxurious pair of socks. I used the I'm So Basic sock pattern by Summer Lee. It's my favorite vanilla sock pattern. It's also one of the only vanilla sock patterns I've ever used, but it has a lot of sizes. It works really well. I use it all the time. It's just a really great pattern. I did a 2x2 ribbed cuff. It has a slip stitch heel gusset and just a regular decrease and Kitchener stitch toe. It's knit cuff down. It's knit on 2.25mm needles. And now I have these gorgeous, really soft, luxurious socks that I think will make my grandfather very, very happy. I do think I want to knit a sweater in Arwetta held double maybe sometime. I know it's a superwash sock yarn, but I think it would be so nice in a sweater. Yeah, I don't know, for a superwash, it's really nice to knit with. It's very soft too, and I also think it would be great for baby knits or accessories. Maybe I should knit myself some mittens sometime with Arwetta. But yeah, these are my grandpa's socks. After finishing my grandpa's socks, I got annoyed because the next thing I would have to finish if I was getting through the socks was the cotton pair of socks that I've been knitting for my partner's father. He wanted a cotton pair of socks because he's the type of vegan that does not want to wear or buy wool. So I respect that, but I really didn't manage to knit him a proper pair of socks. I think there were like 2 or 3 trials, and then in this last one I knit one sock. It didn't look great, it didn't fit great, so I just never cast on the second one. And after talking to my partner, I realized I should just let it go. Maybe sometime I'll knit him like something cotton to use as like these pot holders. Maybe I can knit those, or I could knit him a little basket or something, but socks is just not gonna be it for him. It was an easy fix. I just scratched that off the list and it was a frog, and then that way I had finished 3 items off my list in like just 2 or 3 days, which was great. Then I continued grafting my mother's Monday sweater. It looks really good now. This is a Monday sweater my mom knit in Knitting for Olive merino held with a mohair. I'm not sure which colors. I think Morning Haze and Pearl Gray are like some of the light gray colors. I think the mohair isn't the exact same color as the merino, but they blend really, really nicely. The story here is that it was blocking and her cats got to the blocking garment and they love eating wool, so they bit holes into it. They kind of ruined the sweater, and we did manage to fix it, but I took this guy home with me to graft the body back together from where we'd cut it, and I finally finished grafting because there was a pretty big amount of stitches. I think this is a size medium or large, probably. I'll try it on really quickly to show you how it looks, and it will be my first time trying on my mom's sweater as well. I don't think you can really see the line where I grafted anymore, so I did a pretty good job. I'm very, very happy with what it looks like now. It's just a very basic raglan sweater. It has 1x1 ribbing. I think it's one of Petite Knit's best staples after trying it on. It's maybe one size too big for me, but I think I would love one for myself in this yarn combination, or maybe with merino held double to kind of match my partner's hanstholm sweater, which I've also made a lot of progress on. Let me grab that real quick. So this is what my partner's hanstholm sweater is looking like. I'm knitting it in Knitting for Olive merino held double in the color Dusty Petroleum Blue. It is absolutely gorgeous. It's one of my partner's favorite colors and it looks so good on him. So this is a men's pattern by Petite Knit called the hanstholm sweater. It's also a very basic raglan pattern. I had some trouble with the yoke, so that's why you see the line from my mid-project block. I talk about that a lot more in my last podcast episode, so check that out if you want that information, because I don't want to risk being too redundant on here. It's knit on 4mm needles, so at a DK weight. The pattern calls for Peer Gynt, but I thought that would be too rustic for my partner because this is actually his first wool sweater and only the second knit garment he's going to own. But he's tried it on a few times and he really seems to love it already. The sleeves do seem a bit short. I knit it to pattern and they look perfect if you know that yarn grows after blocking, but even with the garment growing after blocking, I think it's too short for Knitting for Olive yarn because this yarn is notorious for growing in terms of width in your garment, and then like your sleeves get too short, so I always add extra length to my sleeves. For some reason, when I was just about to knit the cuff, it seemed like the sleeve was long enough already, and then I ended up knitting the first sleeve to pattern. But he tried it on earlier today and the sleeve is a bit too short, so I'm gonna undo the ribbing and add some more length on this sleeve and add some more length to this sleeve first. I'm almost done on it. I don't know if I've showed you this before, but I have this little trick for sleeve knitting where I use my Katya rainbow stitch markers to kind of follow where I am, and it makes it very easy to count where you're at in your sleeve knitting. So yeah, it's very easy because then you can just go 1, 2, 3 like this, and it's also very easy because now you can just very easily count from the last increases where you are, and you never really need to count all the way from the bottom, and you can just be sure that you have the exact amount of stitches on one sleeve that you have on the other, because as I knit the second sleeve, I grab the stitch markers from the first, so I don't even need to count how many stitch markers I have, because I know I just need to transfer these 3 stitch markers to my other sleeve, add some more length to the cuff, and then knit the cuff and bind off, and then I'll pick this one back up and redo the cuff and the bind off after adding some more length. I think like about a centimeter or 2, 3 should do the trick. But yeah, then I'll go back to the body, which is pretty long already. I think I'm about at like 43 centimeters. My partner isn't the tallest guy. This is a size small, so I do think I should be able to finish this relatively quickly. And I will need a sweater in this color for myself because it looks amazing, and then we can match with our sweaters and our socks, which would be adorable. Now, let's talk about the project I'm most excited about. Wait, there's so many balls stuck to this, guys, so I have to like figure out where to put them for a second with all my whips. I just picked up the stitches for the neckline. Wait, where are we at? So it looks a bit weird. I had some trouble figuring out how to make the neckline match up. It looks big now because I'm using like a pretty long cable, longer than I would want to, because it's the only thing I have lying around, because my cables are being held hostage by another sweater that I'll pick up later. But so yeah, this is what my heart chain sweater is looking like. I've made some progress on the body already. Looks like this. And it's knitting up relatively quickly. I love the way this looks, and I can't wait to wear it. This is a pattern by a Korean designer from Mayo, and it's knit on 5.5 millimeter needles with one big cabling chart and 2x2 ribbing on the cuffs and the neckline. It's going to be a folded neckline. It's a drop shoulder pattern knit with short rows. I think it's going to be absolutely amazing. The name is obviously a tribute to these gorgeous heart chains on the side. I'm knitting it on 5.5 millimeter needles as the pattern calls for once I hit gauge, and I'm using a worsted weight held with a lace weight mohair. This is Filcolana Peruvian Highland wool in the color Old Rose. And this is Knitting for Olive soft silk mohair in the color Dusty Rose. As you can see from my outfit and my nails, I'm very much still in the February Valentine's mood. But yeah, this sweater has been bringing me so much joy, and I'm almost sad that it's knitting up so quickly for a cabled garment, because I'm gonna miss working on it once it's finished, I think. So I can definitely see myself knitting a second one of these if I like that finished product, because the knitting process is just so much fun. I've also been knitting it with other people in a little group chat. It's been so nice seeing all of these versions knit up, and I've been having the best time with this project. So in my last video, I talked about how the charts for this pattern are a bit hard to read if you were to print out the pattern. There's actually been an update released, so she added a bigger size to the pattern, and she also made the charts a little bit bigger. So if you are someone who prints charts, I think they should be relatively legible now if you print them out, which is great. So in my last video, I also talked to you about this basically wall tapestry or rug that I've been knitting for my little cousin. She wants a super chunky sweater as her Christmas gift this year. I knit a Christmas sweater, or Christmas gift sweater, for my other cousin for her brother last year, so it was her turn now. And yeah, I think I got about like 14 balls of drop snow, which I held double. It's the color lavender, and it's knit up on 15mm needles. It's a pattern by Kara Eng. I have a little bit of beef with this pattern because it is mostly charted and only the sleeve instructions are really written out in full. The body instructions aren't. And the pattern costs over 10 euros, I think, which is so silly. Like, why would you make a pattern cost 10 euros if you didn't write out all the instructions? I think that's a bit much to ask for a pattern, if I'm honest, and I wonder what you guys think about this. And I've been wondering about like pattern pricing and what makes a sweater pattern worth 6 or 7 euros versus like 10 euros or more. Curious to see what you guys think in the comments down below. And I don't know, it's just a little thought bubble that popped up. But so I knit this back panel a while ago, and then I did cast on for the front panel. So this has been holding two long cables hostage, essentially, because the front panel is almost done, but the problem is that I lost yarn chicken on the front panel. So I have like 3 rows to go on this guy, and I ran out of yarn. The store where I bought this only had 6 balls left, so I ordered all of those, and I'm gonna have to see whether I can squeeze a neckline and 2 more sleeves out of that. I worry I won't be able to, but that's a problem for future me, you know? I'm just gonna be happy when those balls arrive that I can join the front and the back panel, but I don't think my cousin will be able to wear this spring or summer. I think it'll be finished a bit later because I'm waiting for the yarn right now, and she'll only be able to wear this in the fall and the winter, unfortunately. Nothing to do about that. I didn't expect it to use like 20 balls of yarn. Yeah, because this is one of the thickest, most bulky weight yarns Drops has, so maybe my tension is bad. I don't know. I am knitting a size extra large to make it fit very oversizedly on my cousin, and she's also a pretty tall person. So yeah, that's why it's a big size, but still, even though it's such a big size, I did not think it would be taking up so much yarn. I've let it go. I'm fine. I'm using a little bit of a too long cable for my heart chain sweater neckline, and that's the only real problem I have because of this guy. So if it's just that, it's fine. You know, we're good. I'll be happy once this is done though. So happy, because this takes up so much space. It's actually insane. I don't know how this girl is gonna store this sweater. It's so silly. It's also fun because I never finished my chunky sweater that I started when I just started knitting. So it is nice to like knit a chunky sweater and to have that like checked off my knitter's bucket list. I'm just not really enjoying it that much. It's really not my jam. The needles are so big and it kind of hurts my hands, especially to be cabling this much. I think if this were a stockinette, I'd be enjoying it a lot more, but oh well. Also, I don't like cabling with a cable needle anymore. I've started doing all my cables without a cable needle ever since I knit the Haru sweater. I got a lot of practice with this one, but for this one I really have to get out my cable needle again. So yeah, that's also part of my frustration, I suppose. Now, I also made quite some progress on this gift knit for one of our best friends that is becoming a dad for the first time. Ah, this is so cute. So I'm currently on my second color repeat. I think I'm going to do 3 of the color repeats. I have darker purple, darker green, lighter green, and then the baby yellow. And I'm knitting the pastel rainbow baby blanket, but I'm using pastels, just not in rainbow colors. And it's a free pattern on Ravelry, so it's a very simple pattern that just tells you how many stitches to cast on, how many rows to do. It just explains the stitch and then it says have fun. I changed the pattern a little bit. I'm doing intarsia on the sides. In the original pattern, the colors just go along the sides with a garter edge, but I thought this would look a little bit more polished. It leaves me with a lot of balls to navigate while I'm working on it, and with a lot of ends to weave in the end, but I think it's gonna be well worth it and look very nice and polished. I think the size of the blanket will be perfect to put like in the stroller to go on walks and have like very aesthetic baby walks. I did weigh my balls, these two, after finishing the second color repeat, and I don't have enough for a third one, so I did have to order one more of each ball, of which I'm maybe just gonna have to use like 5 grams. I'm not too mad about it though, because that means I'll be able to knit like matching little baby sweaters or outfits in the future with the same color scheme. Maybe when the baby turns like 6 months and 1 year, I'll gift it something that fits the blanket perfectly. I ordered some more balls of white yarn to do like tiny colorwork sweaters. I think that would also be great to practice my colorwork skills. As you can see, there's also currently no needles on this because I'm using the needles for my heart chain sweater neckline. I do really enjoy knitting on this. It's a very fun pattern, it's a fun stitch. It's just slowly growing, and I'm gonna be so excited to see how it blocks out because it already looks virtually perfect right now and almost as if it's already been blocked. Yeah, I'm very glad with this vision. I think it's perfectly gender neutral and I think it fits their aesthetic. They're like very aesthetic people. I think it fits their aesthetic very well, so I hope they'll be happy with this gift. And if they aren't, I will have had so much fun knitting this because it's so beautiful, and just, you know, when you're knitting something really beautiful, you just get joy out of knitting it because it looks so nice. I had it with this guy as well. Ugh, love it. Love that feeling so much. Now, another knit that has been using my 4.5 millimeter needles is this guy. This is my pearl cardigan by Garno Slikt or Helena Beba. It's a drop shoulder cardigan. I've knit most of the body already. I just need to do a little bit more and then start the hem. So I took the needles off here because I was using those for my ripple stitch baby blanket while I was knitting. Ooh, I dropped some stitches on the sleeves, but while I was knitting the sleeves on my shorties. I'm just gonna quickly pick these up. Ta-da! So this is a broken rib cardigan. It's all over broken rib. It's looking like this currently. My stitches are a little bit slanted. I don't really like the look of that. Maybe I should have held a mohair with it, but from far away you don't notice it as much. I'm not sure I like this blue very much. It looks blue on camera, but in real life it looks like very aqua, like a greenish turquoise, like seafoam greenish blue almost. And I don't know how it's gonna look on me, but I do know that this color is screaming spring and making me feel very happy while I'm knitting it. So if I don't end up liking it once the finished garment is knit up, I might just dye it, but at least I'll have had the fun of knitting on it while I was doing so. I'm using Folkalana Peruvian Highland wool again. This is the color Rime Frost. It is just very pretty as is. I don't know if it's my color necessarily, but yeah, we'll see that once I finish this garment. The sleeves are very fun to knit as well. This is how far I got on Tuesday. It's gonna have a double knit button band, and I think it's gonna be like the perfect chunky jacket to throw on at the start of spring. I'm not sure I'll have it finished by the start of spring, but April can be really cold in Belgium and really rainy, so I think it would be perfect for April as well, because I'll just bring a raincoat to wear over top of this if it rains, and if it doesn't rain, I'll just wear this as my jacket. I think it'll be very fun. I've really been in my like fun, colorful cardigan era. I bought white buttons for this. I think it's gonna look really cute with like a white top and jeans. I've really been focused on knitting more cardigans for like transitional weather, and I want most of them right now to be like a fun color with a fun stitch pattern so that the cardigan can really be my outfit. You know what I mean? Then I can just throw on a pair of jeans, a little t-shirt or top, just a basic white or creamy color, and then throw on a fun cardigan and a cute pair of socks, and then I'll have a really cute outfit without really needing to think about it, which is exactly what I want when I'm leaving for work or something, and when I have outfit stress, because I have a lot of choice paralysis when picking out outfits. So I think these cardigans will be amazing to combat outfit stress and also to wear with dresses, although I do think I might need to to knit like a white or marzipan-y cardigan sometime soon to wear over like colorful dresses in the summer. But yeah, I really like this pattern. It's so well written, like all of this designer's patterns are, and I've been having a lot of fun with this, but I've mostly been knitting on it on Tuesdays because that's when I knit on it with my friends with whom I'm knitting this together. But yeah, it's been fun. I've loved this, and I really hope we can keep like the Tuesday knitting thing going because it's nice to have some form of structure with the hobby, you know, especially because I'm such a chaotic castonitis person. I really need like some accountability or something when I'm knitting, which is what this YouTube channel is also very great for. Okay, so the last thing I've been knitting on is actually technically not a cast on, but technically also a cast on. So if you watched my last video or follow me on Instagram, you might remember the absolutely hideous, horrendous leg warmer I tried knitting for my sister. I've not frogged it yet. I've hidden it somewhere deep inside a closet to confront once I start the second leg warmer, but I cast on a new pair. I did the cast on like 3 times over and, well, just tried to figure out how to get to the perfect amount of stitches, but I think I found it. This is knit with Sunless Garn Perfect, so I think it's gonna grow quite a lot with blocking and kind of look like this, but I think that's a good width for leg warmers. I've tried it on over my shoes and I started with 60, that was way too little, that was like sock size, that was a dumb idea. It's on 3mm needles, by the way, so without a pattern, I'm just freestyling these in a 2x2 rib. Then I cast on 80, that was way too many, so I think now I thought I had 72, but I counted and it's 68, but I think it looks really good. It's just a little bit wider than a sock. And I did this ruffle edge. I just did a provisional cast on. I used Judy's Magic Cast On, and then once I got a little bit into the ribbing, I picked up the Judy's Magic Cast On with 2.25mm needles, and then on the first row I did knit one, make one left, knit one, make one left, knit one, make one left, and then on the second row I did knit one, yarn over, because from my experience with other patterns where I knit ruffles, if you do the yarn over on both rows, you get like these kind of holes. If you do it on the second row, you don't really see the holes, so that's fine because the thingy curls over it. So that's why I put a little bit more effort into the first row with doing the make one left to make it look cute, but with the second row you don't really see the yarn overs. And then after that second row I just bound off, and this is what the ruffle looks like now. I think it's really cute, especially if it's like spread out. It looks nice, really nice. Oh, I have all of these steps that I took in my Ravelry notes as well, so I'm gonna add how long I knit them and how I cast them off, so if you want to make these for yourself you can follow along. My sister's gonna wear these on her like platform buffaloes, so I think that's really cute. I used a DK weight sock yarn, the Sunless Garn Perfect, because she wanted white ones and I thought she would be glad to be able to pop these in the wash. But so yeah, you can follow along with my notes on Ravelry, and I think it's gonna be really cute. I don't know whether she's gonna want me to do a ruffle on the bottom or a regular bind off. I think I would do maybe a ruffle? I'm not sure. I would like to do a regular tubular bind off because, well, another ruffle would be a lot of work. 4 ruffles on 2.25mm needles sounds like a lot of work, but if she wants 4 ruffles, we can make that work. And I've actually been having a lot of fun with these. I do want to like make haste and finish them because I want to cast on a DK weight pair of socks for myself again. I'm still feeling like the February castonitis, so I do feel like I'm almost at the point where I can give myself one cast on, you know, if it's just a small pair of socks for myself, that will be nice and fun to do, but I do need to free up 3mm needles before I can do so. So this is how I got down to 13 whips right now. Once I finish the leg warmers and the hanstholm sweater, those will probably be the next things I finish. I'll really start to work myself down even more, but I'm probably not going to check many things off the list with how I've been working on several whips at once again. My urgency list and system that I tried to figure out in the last video didn't really work as I assumed it would be. This was very chaotic, but it's worked. I think just sitting down and talking through my fails, my flops, what's been working, what hasn't been working, really helped me realize which patterns I wanted to work on first and which projects I wanted to finish first. I've mostly just been knitting the last few days on what brings me joy and the hanstholm sweater, because I think this is just something I'm going to be able to finish so quickly. It's a perfect television knit, and I'm going to be so happy to see my partner wear it, because this is like, it's a gift knit, but it's going to be one I get to see all the time if he's wearing it, and that'll make me really happy. And also it's just an easy stockinette. It's such a good one to just get through. So I'm going to continue, I think, in the next few days, mostly knitting on these two whips, and then you'll see where I got probably within 1 month's time or so when I film my next podcast. I do think I'm gonna film like a spring knitting plans video, but I won't really be talking about my spring knitting plans. Maybe I could talk about like all the patterns that I would want to be knitting this spring, but I won't be because I have all these whips. But I think it would be fun to just talk them through, get those out of my system, and maybe see some of you guys knit up those ideas that I have floating around in my brain. If you managed to get to the end of this video, thank you so much for sticking around. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day and happy knitting. Bye bye.